Hello, hello, hello. It's a brand new day, and this is our morning connection. How are you doing this morning? How are you doing? I'm so glad you are here for our daily check-in, our ritual, our habit, our mental toughness conditioning exercise session, our workout session, a workout session for our mind, for our heart. That's what makes it all go. All the strategies in the world aren't going to help you if you don't have the right mindset. That mental toughness conditioning, you and I were accountability partners meeting every single day just to check in. I'm just here to remind you of who you really are, what you're all about, where you're going. Remind yourself of those promises that you've made to yourself. Every single day I give you some things to think about. As I go through the journey of life, there are certain organizing principles to life that will lead you to your bullseye, your target for happiness, success, whatever that means to you. There are certain organizing principles that we have to learn and execute over and over and over again. We don't just set it and forget it. We don't just follow certain disciplines, get in a certain way of thinking, and then we get to just set it and forget it for the rest of our lives. It's just like working out in the gym. Or we have to get better and better and better at it. We have to progressively overload, all right, make ourselves stronger in the same areas. You know, a lot of us, we're into fitness, and, one thing that I really specialize in helping older men with busy, productive lives, get the strategies that they need to succeed. Just what they need, be effective and efficient with their willpower, focus, energy, and time. They're willing to do the work, right? But do the work where you need to do the work, and all those things that you hear that are interesting. Maybe next level stuff, maybe give you that 2% difference. You got to block those out if you're going to keep your entire life intact, right? You got to do the things you must, right? And throw away those things that don't really matter. You got to know what that is, and then you get to work, all right? Sometimes they went, well, I've heard this stuff before. What's new? And as I look through some of the YouTube channels and things like that, I can see where they just pound on more and more information. All right, just keep it interesting, keep it new, maybe for themselves, maybe for their viewers. They feel the pressure of, tell me something new. I've heard that before. I do that, and it doesn't work. Well, it's not about something new. It's about getting better and better and better at the organizing principles, the basics, more consistent, more follow through, right? 5 more pounds, one more rep, more mind-muscle connection on the things that really matter. But what are those? When you find what those things are, it's just getting better and better at it. And when I talk about these things on this morning connection, there's things that, I could talk about them every single day. I could break it down even more. I could talk about new interesting things that, never really happen in our life, but it would make it more interesting. Refrain from, if you've been watching this morning connection, you hear the same things come over and over again, right? And you think, talking about the same things. Tell me something new. Well, if you have your life and everything you're experiencing, what you want, you feel in control, that it's happening that way. If you're happy and just creating value, then, hey, well, this show may not be for you. Maybe you should be doing a show. Tell me what that is. I want what you have. But for me, I'm constantly growing, constantly looking for answers, and it's found in doing those things over and over again. The things that we talk about over and over again. We have 10 shows on each topic that we talk about every morning on this morning connection. In this morning connection one, I want to talk about how to have better relationships. How to have better relationships. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about not only to have them, how to attract better relationships, right? So maybe the circle of friends, influence, you're not attracting the right people. So in this morning connection, I'm going to give you some things to think about how to attract better relationships. What made me think about that, I did a post that's quite popular. I put it on social media, something that I read from Warren Buffett. And he said, hang around people who are better than you. Hang around people who are better than you. That got a lot of positive response. I guess a lot of people can identify with that, right? And I want to talk a little bit about that, how to attract people who are better than you, how to hang around people who are better than you. And there's this saying that you hear all over the motivational, the memes all over the internet, and it says that you are no better than the average of the 5 people you spend the most of your time with. All right, so I want to talk about that too. You are no better than the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So in this connection, I can give you some things to think about, some things that I think about, some of the things I think about with my men who go on coaching journeys with me, weekly coaching, to get more imaginative, more creative, get more clear on those goals, those feelings, emotions that they want. And then they talk with me every single week to get distinction strategies, right? But to keep them engaged, accountable to their dream more than themselves. And again, if you like this, I remind them of who they really are. An hour intense, the calls are recorded. We have a very structured way of do this, how I coach my guys. This is the stuff that we talk about, but it's not just generically, it's about all targeted at their specific goal. So you guys ready? You guys ready for some mental toughness conditioning? Our daily check-in. In a moment, I'm going to say good morning to you over on Instagram. We're doing this live. Love you guys on Instagram. And I love you guys on Facebook, too, watching me live every single morning, very early in the morning. And it doesn't matter if you're watching me, maybe you're watching me a little bit later in the day from LinkedIn, from YouTube on my Manformation YouTube channel. So go to Manformation YouTube channel. You'll see all of these episodes that I've done every single day since the beginning of the year. If you like this, you're new to our group, you're new to our tribe, and you've got 10 or 15 minutes and you want to catch up, you can go to the Manformation YouTube page and make sure that you subscribe so every single time I post. And I'm going to start posting articles over there too in the community section and other videos besides our morning connection check-in. So you want to make sure that you are subscribed to the Manformation YouTube channel. All right, let's see who is joining us for our connection today. All right. David, good morning to you, sir. Hey, David, thank you so much for the comments on the video I just posted. And it's how much muscle can you gain now that you're a little bit older? How much muscle can you gain? Check that out on my Skillful Core YouTube channel. I like how you said, how it tied in, it stacked on top of all of the lessons. As again, if you're new watching me, I'm a former 6-time national champion drug-free bodybuilder. I don't just talk about doing stuff. I've done some stuff in my life, right, too. This type of mindset has helped me. I've been a student of personal development for 36 years, been in fitness for 30 years helping guys. And I specialize in helping older men with busy, productive lives, not with this mental toughness conditioning, this mindset, also fitness, right? The stuff you need and need to get better at, and maybe the younger, passionate fitness experts who really into, I know what that's like. I was that way, all the extra stuff that you don't need for this life that you have. And I like how you said how it stacked that message, kind of put all the pieces together for you from everything I've been talking about. Right there. So, hey, make sure you're on you guys should be on all of my social media platforms. I'm doing a little bit every day, everywhere, and they all have a different flavor, from the podcast to the videos to the blog posts to the articles. Right? I'm really passionate about this stuff if you haven't noticed that. Right? So make sure you're on all of my social media platforms. But thank you so much, David, for that feedback. Your feedback, it's really helpful. Really helps me keep on keeping on. So I really appreciate it. I'm glad to talk about how to attract better relationships. I'm so glad that I've attracted you, David. I appreciate that. Franny, good morning from England. Nice to have you here, Franny. Hello, Rolf. Good to have you here, Rolf, and good to have you here too, Robert, joining us. I see Wayne is here. Pranchaya is here. Paul, Wayne, Loveman. Good to have you gentlemen here, right? And on Instagram, let's see, my wife Carrie, she wakes up just to make sure that the signal goes off, the show goes off. I appreciate my wife so much. She's so supportive in helping me. Maybe talk about that. A lot of guys, they've watched my journey. They knew me as the bodybuilder, was focused, intense, and didn't have this family, this connection that I talk so much about. It took me a lot to work to get to this, to earn it, to attract better relationships. I'd have to become a better person. I'm going to talk about how to attract better relationships. Should talk about that journey, and feel so fortunate to have my wife and this family that we have together. Tell you pieces that I throw it out as we talk. You can show up here every single day. Can't help but give you bits and pieces of my life. Hello, Alahar, Crispanian. Let's see here. Samson, Kevin McBride, Jules. Right, great to have you. Chris, good to have you here. Martin. All right, love it. I love it. Love it. Kingsley on Instagram. Hello. Long time no see. Camero. What does that mean? So you're just being reintroduced to me, Cameron, right? After you've been around my bodybuilding, knew me as 20 years ago as the bodybuilder. Now I'm coming back into your life. There's a reason for that, and maybe I'll talk about that more during future morning connections. Stick around. We got so much to talk about. You joining me every single day. But I want to get to our topic today: how to attract better relationships. Right? Like I said, I posted a quote by Warren Buffett, right? Financial genius, investor. Warren Buffett said, "Hang out with people who are better than you." Right? Let's talk about that for a second, right? If everybody took Warren Buffett's advice and everybody hung out with, why would they hang out with you? Right? If they're better than you, they would want to be hanging out with people better, right? And it reminded me of a couple things to think about. That sounds so great to hang out with people who are better than you. All right? Sounds good. But why would they hang out with you? Right? What do you bring to the table that they would want, that they would, unless they just wanted to matter to you, just out of the goodness of their heart, maybe they saw potential in you. And that happens. People... when you achieve a certain level, you want to share it with other people. Maybe there's a like in you. Maybe you remind me of them. You remind me of them at this stage, and they want to go out of their way and help you. That could be the case. And how lucky are you to remind them of themselves when they're younger, and you get their benefit. All right? I'm going to tell you something. There's something that I do well, and I also want to tell you some things that cause me challenges to prevent you. Right? Because I always wanted to hang out with people who are better than me. I still do. All right? And I was resourceful. I got to tell you, I can tell you a lot of stories of, how I hung out with motivational speakers and things like that right after I retired from competitive bodybuilding. Wanted to get on to the next level of my life. And I would be really resourceful in many different ways to get in their company. And what I would do, and this is how I attracted them, is what I had to offer. And for me, it was fitness. And if they were interested in maybe the discipline that my bodybuilding represented, maybe they wanted more of that. I related to what I can add to their life, right? So a lot of really successful guys in the area that I wanted to become successful, to round myself off, they didn't make fitness a high priority. And they admire that. They admire the discipline. They wish they had more. Because I don't care who you are in life, you're always going to have holes in your life, things that you can do better. So I would when someone had something that I want to understand, I want to exchange. I look for a fair exchange, giving first, but to people who would value what I had to offer. All right, people who I wanted to attract, people who were better than me. All right, and that would happen, right? And this is. So that's the strategy, right? What can you offer them? What can you sell them? Persuade that you can add value to their life long before you start asking for something in return. That was my strategy. That may be a strategy that I'm talking about. But I want to do more than just maybe give you some obvious things or whatever. One thing about me, and I'm falling on the sword here, telling you about some mistakes I made in the past so you don't do the same, that I stopped short. All right, I didn't always use that to the advantage. I created that opportunity. I hustled, I grinded, I was creative. I found my way to get around people who are better than me. And you know what I found out? There was a reason they were better than me, right? In that one particular area, not better in God's eyes or anything like that. Certainly maybe not better in fitness, because they thought differently than me. They thought in ways that made no sense to me, but that's why they were better than me. Right? Sometimes you have this confidence in who you are and what you've done, and it makes sense to you, and you have a certain level of confidence, and then you want to take your life to the next level and go into some area of life that you're not good at yet. Right? And that's why you want to be around these people, and their values are not even close to yours, or so it seems. That's why they're better than you. How they align their willpower and focus, energy, time is much different than you. Things that don't make sense to you. Right? If you judge the way they do it, I mean, I had a business mentor. Right when I was done, I exchanged that value, a local businessman, and one thing that he would always change his schedule because he had meetings with movers and shakers in the city all the time. And I was getting so frustrated. Hey, look, if you want to do this fitness thing, I mean, and I didn't really say this, but I was getting frustrated because, to master fitness, I mean, you had to be dedicated. You had the same time of day to training, put that first, organize it that way. And, he always had all these things coming up, these, business meetings and deals, or he was up late the night before, couldn't get up, right? And that just wasn't going to fly with me, right? It's been a long time, since I retired from bodybuilding, and I opened up my eyes to how to attract better people, better relationships, and how to, learn from those who are better than me in those areas. And I realized is that the reason why I was good at this is because I thought this way. And the reason why I wasn't good at that area is because I didn't address it, because I didn't think that way. You're right? I was very closed off, like judgmental, like my way's the right way. That's why he was better than me. Just some things to think about. I mean, now I'm a lot more mentally flexible when I I attract those better relationships with those people who are better than me. But my biggest thing isn't just to, exchange value so they would want to hang around and exchange that value. I mean, that might be obvious. But the thing is, when you get there, you're going to find out why they're better than you. And it may not sit with you. The values, the way they prioritize, the way they think things, your, important values may be different. I don't mean that in a bad way. And you might resist that, make them a bad and you in the good category, or just drift away because you don't understand that. I don't want you to find out 10 years later, hey, there's a reason why I wasn't good. They were. The reason why I wanted to attract better people, why he was. So remember that. You can, all you want, find ways to attract people who are better than you, hang around people who are better than you, like Warren Buffett says. But if you get there, and then you just stay who you are and you're not mentally and emotionally flexible, that's not going to last very long. All right? I don't want you to make some of the same mistakes that I did. All right? Go into that area that it's a mystery. You haven't figured out the code. They have the code. May not sit well with yours. You got to expand, step away from who you are. And I'm not saying compromise your values of integrity or anything like that. But the way they organize the world may be a lot different. I had that situation way too many times. Now, really quick, you hear that thing about you're the average of the 5 people you hang around most. I hear a lot of people on social media complain about their circle, from their mate, their wife, their friends. They hang around always being let down. That they'll resist something like that. Well, I'm not the average of the 5 people I hang around. I'm better than that, or whatever it says, or whatever they say to themselves. But they complain about the people who are in their circles. And I'll tell you this is, sometimes we are around people who maybe we're obviously better than higher standard. They drain us. We might complain that we're not attracting better relationships, and that gets frustrating. But we also need to think, why is that a match? Why is that a match? Why are we allowing that frame to be around people that bring us, and I'm not talking about people you're forced to, like family members. You might even have a choice with that. But if we can say that I am better than the 5 people I hang around most, you need to think about that, why that is. Why are your standards, why your frames, if that is indeed true, or maybe in a match, and maybe things we don't think of, maybe is part of your identity to really give to other people. That's just part of who you are, maybe more than the goal that you have, to make more money, to do the business. That internal identity that you have is to give to people who are challenged. And so instead of the goal to make more money to start the business, that's a obviously a goal that you have that you intellectually say that you want, but internally you just really want to help other people. So much so those goals get put on the back burner. Your need, to nurture, to help other people is stronger, and you just don't know it. And that's why you're hanging around people who you say that you're better in, and you want to resist that. You are the average of the 5 people you hang around most. Some things to think about. Getting deep here, I want to know how to attract better relationships. How to attract better relationships. Tony Robbins, the great Tony Robbins, says the quality of our lives is the quality of our relationships, and that is so true. Not just our relationship with ourselves, and then that goes off to the relationships with our family that we have or we don't have, that we're fighting with or we're really connected with that foundation. If you've experienced that, I have that now as I come to you. I did not have that in the past, and then that sets the tone of your relationships with your friends, co-workers, business partners, if you have that, clients, right? Attracting new clients and customers, that continuing relationship all starts with the quality of your relationship. So just some things to think about when you want to know how to attract better relationships. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for this morning connection. Give you some things to think about. How was our workout? So you get some things to think about as you become the total package, your best both inside and outside of the gym, as you expand, get better and better and better. All right. So remember, if you're a little bit older, and this message is specifically designed for older men, a little bit older with busy, productive lives, right? We got more time behind us than we do in front of us. We got to seize the day. We can't live off potential. Can't, all those dreams that we had when we were younger, just say, yeah, someday that's going to happen. We got to make them happen every single day. And that's what I'm here for. That's why you're attracted to this. That's why you're going to keep on coming back for this mental toughness conditioning every single day. We got more time behind us than we do in front of us. We got to take on the day, take care of our physical bodies, train, eat. We got to produce our legacy. We got to love and connect with that sense of urgency. Remember, everything in life runs in patterns. Some are more complex than others. You will figure it out. You can figure it out if you are resourceful and gritty enough. Some patterns are easier to figure out than others. Some you think that, who am I? Why is everybody else getting? Am I dumb? Am I defective? And they challenge you, right? But if you figure them out quickly, slowly, or somewhere in between, we can all figure out the patterns to everything. Your biggest challenge, like even how to attract better relationships. Right, so expect the best from yourself today. Expect the best from your efforts, and expect the best from other people. They will get you and the message and the value that you provide. How can they not? You are a force to be reckoned with. Have a great day.